Hi everybody, welcome to the Tanz Talks. This funny title is a result of my German background. I am a dancer, choreographer and yoga teacher, and today I am going to take you with me into a conversation with Tara Stiles, my own all-time favorite yoga teacher. Tara is also coming from a dancing background. She is the co-founder of Strala Yoga, a very movement-oriented way of practicing yoga. And she is based in the US, but guiding classes, intensives, and teacher trainings all around the globe. I mean, during the pandemic, obviously, those were online. She has influenced literally hundreds of thousands of people through her YouTube channel, her trainings, her Strala Home app where you can practice with her every single day, and her books. She has authored 7 books so far. But she's also a mom and an advocate of finding ease in challenge and of accomplishing more by stressing out less. Today, I want to talk to her about her own body perception since the days when she was dancing up until now. Tara, I'm so happy that you followed my invitation, so thank you again for this. I would love to start with a little questionnaire, and I would ask you to simply answer quickly and without overthinking. Just describe your mood in 3 words.
Oh gosh, my mood in 3 words. Wow. Excited, grateful, and wondering what's happening next, I guess.
Which daily ritual do you cultivate?
Oh gosh, well, for me, it's probably pretty obvious, and I'm sure same with you, is daily yoga is just so important for me to get everything moving for myself physically, emotionally, everything kind of all together in that way. And then having the added element of doing that with a group, whether that's online, of course, right now, or in person again, whenever that's possible. That's my own daily thing that helps me just feel so great.
When do you usually get out of bed? With which foot?
With which foot? So Mike brings me coffee in bed, which is amazing. So he's up a little bit earlier. I know, it's ridiculous. But around 6 a.m., I guess we're up, and I don't know if I get out with one foot or the other, but I'm definitely kind of a roller out of bed, and then I guess both feet probably hit the ground around the same time. But now I'm going to have to kind of notice tomorrow how this happens. So
If a fairy grants you a wish, what will you ask for?
one wish. Oh my gosh. For me or for everybody? Gosh, this is a big one. I mean, I
What
think
you
everybody
like?
has. I mean, honestly, I feel like all my wishes came true. I feel, generally happy and grateful to get to do the things I get to do in my life. But I wish that everybody had a bit more calm and peace and just the basic things that we all need. There's so many basic things that are missing from so many people's lives.
What was the last thing or event that made you very happy?
Oh gosh. Well, yesterday, Mike and Daisy and I went to a local farm, and that was really fun. It wasn't really a big event, but for us, it was just to hang around the animals and to, connect with them, lean on them. And I guess for us, remember, they're not there for our entertainment so much, but we can actually make a good connection with them. So it did feel like an event, even though we were just visiting a local farm.
Where is your favorite place to be?
Oh gosh. Oh, well, lately we've really been missing Berlin and Germany altogether. We have so many great memories there and so many warm feeling people and the connection there. So I think in some way Berlin, and somehow the community that we all have together there really feels like a special place to us. So I think that's a happy place for me for sure.
Give us one movement to do together.
Oh gosh. So I love this idea of even just simply sitting where we are. And oh yeah, you always like, you're guiding me. It's perfect. This is the best. So, which I feel like what happens whenever you take on the role of, okay, I'm going to lead somebody through something, automatically whoever you're doing that with starts to also do that, and it becomes this whole together project, which is so beautiful. So I think, just a simple thing to do together is sitting and rolling around a little bit and eventually finding a easy place.
Yeah, cool.
And that's
I
it.
totally
Super
enjoy
simple.
imagining how people who might be watching this will all do this and
Oh
then
yeah,
finding
absolutely.
their happy place. Cool. I think we have a little latency, right? But
Yeah.
no worries. I would like to dive a little deeper, and I would like to go back a little bit in time to your beginnings as a yoga teacher. When you did that, like you were in New York after graduating school, you went to New York, right? And were getting a dance education there, and then you started like having Rory Foster as a ballet teacher who introduced you to someone who was guiding yoga. You started that, and you started modeling nearly at the same time. Please correct me if I get anything wrong.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But
Yeah.
you started, yeah, okay. You started modeling to kind of make a living. So when right before things with the yoga teaching started to take off for you, you were kind of very busy in two worlds, like modeling and dancing, where your body is constantly being judged from the outside, right? And I feel that this alone can kind of mess up the like natural connection you have to your body. How was it for you? Did you feel that it influenced you at all? And maybe also looking back with all your knowledge now, what can somebody do who's in that situation, like being judged from the outside because they're maybe dancing or whatever? What can we do to maintain a good relationship to our bodies?
Oh gosh. Well, thinking back to that period of my life, I mean, you're right. I was doing kind of so many different things, to see what would work out for me, to see where I kind of fit in. And I think with modeling, it was really fun because I got to express myself in different ways. And I kind of slid into doing a lot of TV commercials where I could be really physical with myself. And I started to notice when I really let myself be myself. And I know it sounds so oversimplified, but that's when things started to work for me. And whenever I would feel a little bit insecure or take what somebody said to me a little bit too seriously, and then I would try to uh, be like the people next to me, that's when things started to not work. So I think that's kind of at the root of a lot of people's not just body issues, but self-esteem issues and confidence issues. And it all can kind of get wrapped up together. So I definitely remember, when I would walk into the room and just be myself, dress like myself, and feel confident. If that, gig was for me, then I got it. And if it wasn't for me, I didn't get it. And I didn't feel bad about it either way. And I noticed when I would go into the room and I would, try to dress like somebody else and act like somebody else, or the version of maybe me that I thought somebody would want to see, I never would get the gig. So it was a really clear feedback for me, what worked, what didn't work. And especially with something like modeling or TV commercials where somebody is literally picking from a large pool of people, it's not so much, the size of you or the look of you per se. It's many things that they're looking for. And if you fit in, great. If you don't fit in, you don't get it. So it's really easy for that to kind of mess with you. And I think even beyond things that you could get chosen for in life, I started to really realize that, okay, if I just choose myself first, then something will happen. So something really interesting that started to happen for me was casting directors at that time were saying, and I didn't even know this because I never was, an actress or, I didn't stay with modeling for a long time, but they would say, and I found this out later, that they were looking for a Tara Stiles type, and I'm like, wait a minute, what does this mean? And literally I would come in and, have my own personality and my own kind of look. And that became a category that they decided that they wanted for other people. They wanted more people to be like this. So I thought, okay, it's not that I'm so awesome within my category, but if you can really allow yourself to cultivate your own personality and trust that and be in that, then, everybody talks about attracting the universe and all of these things, but I just see it as so much more simple as literally being yourself and, showing up and doing a good job and all of that. But not worrying about what other people are doing. People may be in different versions of trying to figure out themselves. So the worst thing you can do is copy somebody who doesn't even have a good connection with themselves. So it can all be such a big mess. But I do think that body image, that self-confidence, that, figuring out who you are and how you want to be in the world. For me, it just became really clear that when I allow myself to cultivate myself, whether it's, the outfit that I want to wear for this casting when I was 21, or how I want to share yoga as I was getting older, that's when more people that wanted to be around that just showed up for me. So that just seemed very obvious. And, even to this day now, I don't feel like, oh, I need to be doing these things because some other yoga teacher is doing it. If they're doing it, that's great. I don't have a negative or a positive feeling about it. It's sort of just what they're doing. And if I stay cultivating myself, I meet all the right people like you. We get to have this conversation right now. And this is awesome for me, for so many different reasons. And all of the things that, I essentially deeply want, not in a superficial way, just start to happen. And I feel like that inner happiness happens. There really doesn't become this need to have, this thing on the other side. The thing is already here, and more excitement starts to just happen naturally with the passage of time and showing up and doing things. So I think that body image is really wrapped up in such a bigger picture. So thanks for having that conversation with people. It's really important.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. And I really love that idea, like not to try to fit into somebody else's expectations too much, because that's what you can never get right in a way, but trust your own way of doing things. That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah, thank you. And then things started to lift off, kind of, and you started getting very busy and got to do lots of interesting things as a yoga teacher around the world. And then quite a few years later, in 2017, I think, you had your daughter Daisy, right? How did that inform your own perception of your own body, or your view on your body? Did it influence you at all? Because what I remember was that I was always like, wow, she's already doing like everything she's done before. That looks amazing. How was it from the inside for you?
Oh gosh, I feel, like there doesn't need to be this big, at least for me, this big change or this big drama about everything. And I think it's really important to know that not everybody's experience is everybody else's experience. And I love listening to, people that I know share their experience with getting pregnant and birth, and then the advice comes at the end, here's my experience and you should do the exact same thing. And I'm thinking, well, that wasn't my experience at all, and I do think, your attitude, how you treat yourself, all of those things, just continue for before, after. Maybe some people have a big shift, after giving birth. Okay, I need to take care of this other person, so I want to take better care of myself. But really for me, it was wild to be pregnant, to give birth, to have her. I mean, just chemically, hormonally, that's just something that happens that you have literally no control over. So it feels, talk about a wild experience. I think that's probably been the most wild experience of my life, where I feel, or at least felt at the time, that these are very real feelings and very real emotions. But, looking back, you're kind of on drugs in a way. So maybe there's something to do with it there that we all kind of share. People that, have given birth and all of that. But I feel like as far as the physical practice of moving, it feels pretty much the same. I think I'm easier to slow down, because before carrying her inside of my body, I think I naturally went a little bit too fast. Even looking at old videos of myself, I really wasn't doing what I wanted to be doing. And now on the other side of it, I think for me personally, it kind of knocked the wind out of me for a little while. So I was put in a place to actually need to follow my breath all the way up and then all the way back down. Whereas before, I had this kind of surplus of, excitement and angst. And I'm just so happy to be doing yoga. And I'm just so cheesy about it that, I want to be following my breath body connection, but I'm a little bit on the speedy side, or, forceful side with myself. So I think being on the other side of having her, it's been a lot easier to follow that breath body connection and have that feeling of slowing down. That's felt more maybe how I should have had before, but I couldn't quite figure out how to get there.
Yeah, a little softer also, right? Yeah, I experienced your classes to be softer afterwards. That was really nice. I really enjoyed those softening moments a lot. So yeah, cool to hear that from your side, from your view. Cool.
Yeah, now I feel bad too, because I think it's interesting, and of course, really important to, at least for myself, to improve my own practice and my own leading for my whole life. So if I looked back 5 years ago and I didn't see any change between then and my practice now, I knew there'd be a problem. But also there's a part of me that says, oh man, I feel a little bit bad of, all the people that I was leading back then. I was leading them a little too quickly. but we all get better, and I think that's part of it as well. And we're all in the process of improving, how we are and all of that. But I definitely think about that. I kind of look back 5 years, 10 years, and I think, oh, wow, I'm better now, thankfully. But that's important, I think, to grow. And, probably 5 years from now, I'll look back and say, oh gosh, what was I doing? Which is terrible, but also, super important, I think.
And also still very good for lots of people, obviously. So everybody else is also in a different place. So you just pick the people that feel right at the moment, right? So that's cool. While doing all that stuff and having that busy life, you still were writing like books on yoga, books on food. I think you wrote 7 books, right? I have 7. I don't know if that's all of them. And you continue to do that. In your last book, I actually have them here.
Oh, cool.
They're in German, most of them. This is not in German. This is the last that came out last year, I think.
Yeah.
And in that, You have a chapter kind of how to nourish relationships and also how to nourish the relationship to yourself. And you say, make a point to have a date with yourself once a week. Do you make that? Do you make it to date yourself once a week?
Oh yeah. I mean, for me personally, self-care and these things like a date for yourself and the morning routine, for me, I see them as essential as drinking water and, eating vegetables and, watching your thoughts and yoga and meditation. So, they're, I don't want to say they're non-negotiables because not all the time, all of them happen, but I definitely do them. I definitely need them. And I definitely feel better after I do them. And I love talking about them and sharing them because, self-care is still seen as selfish. And I know we're kind of getting past that culturally, that self-care is not selfish, keeps getting passed around. And I think, the more it gets out there with all of our sharing, that's great. But really, I think we still see self-care as a yoga practice or a meditation, but we don't really see it as, telling everybody else in the house to go do something for an hour so you can go for a walk by yourself, not because you have a problem or you need to clear your head, but just because you want to have that space for yourself, or, going for a walk in nature alone without the family or without your friends or without your phone or, whatever it is. So, for me, I love sharing these things just to, you know, maybe put myself out there as, yeah, it's a little bit corny to date yourself, but maybe in 5 years from now, it'll be as normal as, of course, we need to do yoga every day, because 10 years ago, oh, doing yoga at home, that's unheard of, or moving how it feels good to you in your body. We can't do that. Otherwise, we're going to injure ourselves. So I just think if you have, these ideas and they work for you, and they work for other people that you've spoken with, it's important to share a little bit, just to maybe give other people permission to follow their own impulses, because when we do, we feel better, and when we feel better, better things happen.
Yeah, totally. For everybody around us. So this is such a great thing. Yeah. When you're guiding classes, you often refer to your body as a friend, or you have beautiful images like in a stretching situation, kind of knocking on the door and see if someone's there and someone's opening. And if not, just wait and chill outside. And I love those. Did those images come like natural to you throughout your whole life, like since you were little, or did that develop over time?
I think both. I mean, for me, having these metaphors, um, they get more simple for myself over time. I think when I was little, like a lot of kids, I felt, so excited about the potential of my life, ready to get the heck out of where I was from, just, feeling like I was being held back, and feeling like there's so many things that I could do and so many things that I wanted to learn. But, looking back, that's kind of one-sided, but now when I practice, having a bit more life experience, and also just knowing that it's not about dumbing things down, but overcomplicating things takes the mystery away from it. So if I was to say, imagine a spiritual being is outside of the door, and when you open it up, your spirit is becoming full of the color purple. If you're on that same wavelength, one person is going to say yes, and everybody else is going to say, what the heck are you talking about? Or the worst scenario is just think that they should think like you and they don't already. So, for me, I love the reality that these practices are within us all, and using metaphors that we all experience every day in our lives, so we can all feel like, oh my gosh, yes. So it feels like us, and it doesn't feel like yoga is this thing that somebody else has that I'll never have, because they're better than me. And then we get right back to that body image and that comparison mindset. And then yoga becomes part of the problem. You're not connecting to yourself that way. You're disconnecting and practicing, not liking yourself, and practicing, believing that you're not worthy in that way. So, I love these images of, we've all had a knock on our door, or we've all tried to open a door and then just forgot to try the knob, to see if it's unlocked. So basically things that, I've experienced that, just chatting with other people in life that they've experienced too. And relating it to the physical practice just becomes so easy. And this is what I love about guiding. We all have the same experiences, but also a little bit different. So, if I took your class, you would in the moment come up with something that you've experienced that I could probably remember that I experienced that would connect me in a different way that I wouldn't be able to connect myself. So I just love that about our own process of learning from each other too.
Yeah, me too. It also makes it so much more accessible. The easier the kind of images are, that's really cool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Tara, before we kind of start wrapping this up, let's have a look a little bit into the future. In October, you're going to host an intensive on the healing of trauma. And I was wondering, what is your personal connection or reason to pick up that this is such a big subject, to pick that up, and maybe also what is the most crucial thing to do in order to get out of this kind of suffering spiral, and what does a movement practice like Strala have to do with it?
So big. So the last group training that we did, and also just hearing from people from online classes and just people I'm talking to in the world, a lot of folks have been saying that they feel like they're just trying to help right now with all the world's problems, and they're just trying to also help themselves kind of process everything that's going on. And what's happened for a lot of people is this kind of physical posture of moving forward and anxious, and fingers even expressed tight, and shoulders and everything's kind of out of alignment forward. And I just started thinking about that for a while, and realizing that, well, when you talk about body position within movement and yoga and creating a space and sequencing, if you want to help somebody and you come at them a little bit too close, or you want to help yourself and your neck is forward, you're kind of reinforcing the opposite to happen. And it seems so silly simple, but with trauma and with these big emotional topics, we get so in our head and so focused on only the language of it, especially yoga trainings. It can be about asking permission to touch somebody, or using a completely different vocabulary of language, or whatever it is, and that could be great only if it's backed up with everything else that you're doing. So something that I've noticed over the years that we have that is unique for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like a lot of other folks are doing it within how we talk about it, is how you move around the room. Are you connected to yourself? Not just are you thinking about, rainbows and unicorns, but are you soft in your body and moving from your own middle? If you ask somebody for permission to touch them, I know if somebody asked me for permission, I would think, well, are you going to touch me bad, or are you going to touch me good? So, maybe thinking about contact not only as physical touch, but we can be in this connection online, and I could do certain things that if I wasn't aware of myself and I was just leaning forward and trying to tell you about something, it would feel invasive to you, even though we're in different countries. So I love this idea that contact is everything. It's not just the moment of physical touch. So how you move around the room, sequencing, obviously a huge topic for me that I love, with dance background and movement vocabulary, and just thinking about turning poses into phrases and storytelling without the narrative of that. So, thinking about big emotional release, or at least creating a container for things not to feel out of control. There's so much you can do within sequencing: shorter phrases, lots of middle phrases, staying grounded, rhythm between phrases, challenging people in certain points, knowing when you're challenging somebody and knowing when you're not just being unaware of your sequence and what it's doing. And really being thoughtful about that, so the guide knows it, so the people that you're leading don't have to be in their head about their trauma. They can be in more of a physical experience. So I think it's really just a container to workshop a lot of these ideas and to leave space for what's happening, which for me is kind of the whole point of guiding yoga, is creating the best possible environment, the best possible sequence, everything that you do from the moment people walk into your room or walk into your digital room, from the beginning to the middle to the end, to the last person is gone, until you turn off the light or turn off the camera. What did you do for that whole time? How did you move around the space? And bringing real thoughtfulness to that, and even to language. It's so easy for a yoga teacher to, just start speaking random things because it's on their mind, when it's really not the right place sometimes, and just bringing a lot more thoughtfulness to what are you doing in the whole class, beginning, middle, and end. So it'll be fun. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we can definitely also share that link when we publish that video. Totally. Do you have anything else that you want to announce or talk about? I know you're writing on another book. I don't know. Do you have anything to share?
Sure. Well, yeah, I love writing. I'm thankful to have the opportunities to continue to do that. So things have been taking me a little bit longer now that Daisy's here. I used to make, I don't know, wasn't really aware of it at the moment, but I would write more books than I was writing now. and I just, actually, it's kind of nice for different phases of life, taking more time, thinking about different things in a different way. So I'm working on a book that's more about purpose and career, and kind of organizing your time in a thoughtful way, in a real kind of moving with ease way, I guess. So I've read over the last 5 years, I think, so many books from friends and, books that people have sent me, and books that I've just seen on, how to maximize the most out of your things, and the girl boss movement and all of these things. And, there's been a lot of awesomeness to that, but I also have felt a lot of, forcefulness inside of that as well. So, I'm thinking, well, we all want to do a good job in life, but we all want to feel good as well. So maybe there's a little bit of a balance, and, like everything, I think, the timing is good to start talking about those things now. And, we're all kind of collectively on that page of wanting to, feel like we're fulfilling a purpose in our life, to feel happy in every moment, not just when some arbitrary goal happens, to feel like we're impacting the people around us, and to feel fulfilled, and, be able to sustain ourselves at the same time. So yeah, kind of working on that, but also daily, as you know, all the yoga on the Strala Yoga app. So we're just been so grateful to have that with everybody.
Yeah, so that would be also a good starting point if anybody is watching and like getting inspired to practice with you. The Strala Yoga app or the Strala Home thing would be the right place to start, right? Would you recommend
we're really happy for that. And, I remember we were putting it together with the tech people that, create the web page and all of those things. And I was talking with Mike, because he was on the phone with him a lot. I said, make sure that we can have a class every single day, and there's enough storage for that, and we can talk with people if they want to talk. And I remember the people saying to him, nobody else does that. You just put a video up a week. And I said, well, I did that with YouTube like 20 years ago, a video a week kind of a thing. And I'm really more interested in this ability to connect every day, and to, have a chance to be with people every single day, and to have a chance to do workshops when we want to do workshops, and to really kind of, treat this like a real studio, not, another YouTube or another online, just it's just there. So which is great, and I think can still be wonderful, but the technology to be with everybody every day is there now, so why not do that? So it's energizing for me. I don't feel burned out at all from that. My friends that are also yoga teachers in different styles, they say, oh, how are you doing all that? You must be exhausted. You must need a massage at the end of the week. And I'm thinking, doing yoga with everyone is my massage. I mean, I sleep really well at night. I roll off and, have to figure out which foot I put on the ground first. But yeah, it feels really great to do yoga with people every day for me.
Yeah, for me as well. I'm very thankful you do that, and I always enjoy it so much. Even like living across the globe and to be able to do the class or even do it later, that's really a great thing. Thank you so much, Tara. I really enjoyed that talk with you, and I'm gonna see you again very soon. And yeah, I'm always very happy to hear from you, and very, very thankful for this opportunity to talk to you, but also for everything you do. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for this, and thanks for doing these conversations with people and for people. I really, think that that's another kind of new thing that's been happening in the last few years, this ability to just, push a button and be able to chat with you. I mean, how cool is that? And talk about these things that we're interested in, and maybe help some people along the way, but it definitely helps me too. So thank you for that.
Cool. All right. Tara, have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Now it's your turn. If you get interested in practicing with Tara, we are gonna link all the resources down below. So make sure to check out the Strala Home app, her YouTube channel, all of her books, and the event in October. And if you like and enjoy interviews like that, interviews on movement, interviews on the body and our connection to it, then make sure to subscribe. Also hit that little bell underneath to make sure that you get notified. And I will be very happy to have you back. Also feel free and invited to check my own website, tanzkörpertraining.de, for my offerings and the offerings of fellow dancers who are guiding movement-related classes. I am happy to see you back here or on the mat.